Hey everyone, this is Vinny. Hope you're doing well. As promised, I'm going to be doing a video right now on miners. Now, the fundamentals are stating to buy. They're saying that miners are very, very cheap, and I don't disagree with that. I think they are very, very cheap. However, from a technical perspective, based on statistics, price history, momentum, it's saying not to buy at this time, and that the price is going to decline even further than where it is at the moment. So I definitely wanted to discuss that. Now, before I get into that, okay, there are some of my subscribers who unfortunately are a little fearful on as to what's going on in the miners. And one of the main reasons why I created my channel, why I started doing videos in regards to gold and silver and what's going on, it's so people are not afraid. There's a lot of misinformation, especially on YouTube. So generally speaking, a lot of channels like to instill fear by spewing out rubbish such as, well, the COMEX is going to go bust in a week or two, so buy precious metals now, or there's supply issues, so you gotta buy it now before it's too late. And you know what, the list just goes on and on and on. Well, first off, regarding supply, there's no credible source that's out there that's saying that there are supply issues in regards to gold and silver. There are articles out there that state that they're having troubles preparing and producing the bars for retail customers, but not for supply in general. If that was the case, trust me, gold would not be doing what it's doing, silver definitely would not be doing what it's doing at the moment. Now, do I feel there's going to be supply issues in the near future? Absolutely. But not right now. What my point is this, okay? I don't want you all to be fearful. I don't want you all to panic, to think that you have to sell your precious metals now. I don't want you to panic if gold goes to $1,200, if gold goes to $11 or $1,000 this year. Okay? I want to prepare you all, or at least give you a different perspective and tell you, okay, look, the probability is gold will most likely do this, and here's why. That way, if it does do that, you guys are okay with it. You guys, expected it somewhat, and it's nothing new. So when I found out that some of you all were a little fearful on the miners and that you were losing money, it tells me I'm not doing my job correctly, and I do apologize for that. And for those who are a little fearful, shoot me an email. Write in the comment section, any questions, and I'll try to help you. I mean, that's why I created this channel. It wasn't for me. I didn't create this channel to be, famous or anything like that, or get my name out there. I certainly didn't make this channel to make money off of you. It was just something that I saw on YouTube, that there was a lot of misinformation, and people were looking more on the fundamentals, which is good. But when you look at the fundamentals, one of the things that happens is that short-term price movements may affect your emotions, and that may cause you to do things that you may regret. So that's one of the reasons why I created this channel, is so you don't have that fear. I wanted this channel to be a little unique compared to the other channels out there, generally speaking, that is. I'm not saying that this is the best channel there is on gold and silver, but it's definitely unique in its ways. And this channel is certainly not here to instill fear. It's here to give you an objective perspective as to what's going on. So if I'm not making myself clear on certain things, or if you want me to touch a little bit more on certain other things, then please let me know. I'll try to do my best, okay? So the fundamentals are stating to buy the miners, okay? They feel it's cheap. However, the technicals, they don't feel that way. I'll be going further into the technicals. Now, and also what's interesting is a technical trader, and you probably heard of him, Alessio Rastani. And if you haven't heard of him, YouTube, Goldman Sachs rules the world, and it's that news appearance that got him famous. So he's a London-based trader. I follow him on Facebook. I think he's very informative. I think he's very knowledgeable. What surprised me is that he told his viewers or his subscribers that the miners are a great buy right now. And it was so interesting because nothing that I see anyways indicate any type of buying signal. And I'm not saying he's wrong. I could be wrong, certainly. But it was very interesting. What he was saying is that they're very, very cheap, and I agree, they are cheap. So I had told him, I was like, do you feel you jumped the gun here by telling people that the miners are a buy? And he responded to me on Facebook, and he said, well, just whatever happens, it doesn't matter because I have my stop loss in place, and it's certainly not a huge portion of my portfolio. And that's kind of fair because, again, with professional traders, they don't really care too much if they're right or wrong, but more so whether they've got the risk management in place. So that's what differentiates between a professional traders and those amateur traders. Amateur traders just want profits, and they want profits quick, which is why most traders lose money and they blow up their account and they feel the trading is very risky. While the big funds, the professional traders, they put more emphasis on the risk. And if it goes the other way than they expected, then it's okay for them because it's just a small little loss. Okay? But anyways, I found it very interesting, and I do disagree with Alessio, though I respect him a lot, in that there is no signs whatsoever that I can see that suggests that miners are a buyer. Now, let's look at AEM. This is a stock, a mining company, gold mining company. It's a producer that I recently got short, and I got short right here on AEM end of May. Now, what's so interesting is that as soon as I got short, it started rallying. And I was like, what the hell's going on? Because gold wasn't rallying. I mean, gold would have to rally pretty high for this miner to make this jump. Especially like a gap action over here that you see. So I was quite confused. And what was also interesting is Gold Corp pretty much did the same thing. It rallied up when gold barely even moved. And so what I noticed, okay, is, and even on the GDX, which is basically the gold miner ETF. Okay, it's just a bunch of gold miners put together, and this is the fund. So it's very confusing as to why it was rallying. And then I looked at the monthly chart, in particular with GDX. And what I saw was a doji candle. Now, if you see my previous videos, remember I explained a doji candle. It basically means indecision. So because it was a doji at a downward trend, lots of buyers got ready to buy this thing. A lot of people thought this was the bottom. Not only people who follow the fundamentals that saw the miners to be very, very cheap, but also some amateur technical traders also purchased at this time, thinking that, okay, it's a doji, that means this is the bottom, let us buy. Now, what they forgot to note is that when there is a doji, professional traders don't usually buy on the next tick. This candle you see here is June. So they don't buy June 1st just because it's a doji here. What they do, they wait for confirmation. So in this case, because it's a monthly chart, they would wait 1 month. So end of June to see, or at least mid-June, to see how the candle is. And so if the candle is pretty long, okay, then it does denote a change in trend. However, what happened is that lots of people buying, and so it went up. But because the miners are based on the gold price, and because gold is in a strong downtrend, the miners had no choice but to follow. Okay? So remember, miners follow, in this case, gold miners follow the gold price. And there are some people that believe that gold cannot hit a certain level because it's below the cost of production. And that is not true. So if you've heard that from somebody, that's not true, and they may not understand the gold market as much as they think they do. Okay? Miners do not have an impact whatsoever on the gold price. It's the other way around. The gold price has an impact on miners. So if the cost of production for an average miner is $1,000 per ounce in gold, that doesn't mean that gold cannot go below $1,000. Okay? Remember this. Miners do not have an impact on the gold price. Now, let's look at the monthly chart on these, okay? Monthly chart is to give you an overview, to give you a bird's eye view as to the trend of the stock. Now, the reason why it's so important on the monthly chart is because there's a head and shoulders pattern. Alright, there is a head here, there is a left shoulder here, and the right shoulder here is forming. And I believe it's going to at least these levels, which is about $15-16. It could go to these levels, but I doubt it, which is about, what, $20? I think it'll go to 15. But remember, the miners are based on the gold price. If gold is only, let's say, $1,200, and if there's evidence that it's going to go further down, and let's say if the GDX is in the $20 region, then I would expect it to at least go to this level to then, rally to the upside. Okay, so we definitely want to take a look at gold to see what's going on, and to use that as a barometer to then purchase miners if you are interested in doing so. All right, now let's look at gold core here, and gold core is same with the head and shoulders. You got the head here, the left shoulder, the right shoulder. It's already past this neckline, just like GDX is already past the neckline. Because it's past the neckline, it's pretty much almost confirmed that it's going to these levels, which is about $15, $14, maybe $16, give or take. It could hit these levels about 19, 18, but I doubt it. Again, let's look at gold. Let's figure out how close it is to the bottom, and that will basically tell us where we can see a nice bottom in the miners. Okay, moving on to AEM. This is the stock that I've chose to short. This isn't really a perfect head and shoulders, but it's okay. All right, because we do have evidence that miners as a whole are in a head and shoulders on the monthly chart. So you've got left shoulder here, you've got the head here, and the right shoulder's forming. All right, my target for this is going to be $15. Okay, it could go to $10, but I'll be happy if it goes to 15. And let me show you something. In a head and shoulders pattern, there could be a few things that could happen. All right, it could bottom out and it can just rally, or it can bottom, it can rally a little bit and then come back to retest the level, or it could bypass that. It can make another new low to try to get people out of the market to then rally very harshly to the upside. So that's why when you're trying to catch the bottoms, you don't want to be leveraged. You want to be very careful. You certainly don't want options, and if you do have options, you better make sure that you've got a lot of cushion and some risk management in place. So that's what you can expect. Okay, we really don't know how it's going to play out, because when there is a head and shoulders, there are three things that could happen. Like I said, it can rally a little bit, it can sell off, go to the previous support and then rally, or it can pierce that and make a lot of people sell at a loss for them to only rally up. So from a technical perspective, what I'm seeing these gold miners is that they're in a head and shoulders pattern, and they've got a doji that made a lot of people excited during the first week of June, but it didn't hold. Why? Because gold is going down. It's in a strong downward trend. So when it comes to fundamentals and technicals, I'm on the technical side at the moment. I feel that the buying momentum right now is not there for gold or silver, and that the metal price rules. When it comes to miners, it's all about the metal price. Now, it is very possible that if you do have a miner, okay, and if they merge with a company, or if it's some kind of good news, and if gold goes down, the miner could go up on that news, obviously, but it'll only go up to an extent, and after which, if gold continues to go down, the miner will catch up to it and go down with it. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share in regards to that the miners right now are in a head and shoulders pattern, and that there's nothing that tells me that it's a good time to buy. All right, now SLW is one of my favorite silver streaming stocks. Now, for those who don't know, Silver Wheaton, or SLW, what it does is basically loans out money to mining companies, and in return, when that mining company produces, let's say, copper or zinc, obviously there's going to be some kind of silver with that. And so there's an agreement between Silver Wheaton and that mining company that in exchange for the loan, they also want to be able to purchase that silver for $4 an ounce. So their business model is very unique. It's a great company, all right? And when silver rallies, let's say if silver were to rally to $40, all right, SLW would probably be in the $41 to $42 range. But when it comes down, when it crashes, if silver is, let's say, $30, SLW usually is $2 below that. It usually finds a bottom about $2-3 below the spot price of silver. So that's why I like to buy and sell Silver Wheaton when there are these big moves. However, because it's at such a low price and it's at $23 and silver I think is at $21, $22 at the moment. I think high 21s at the moment. For those who know, Silver Wheaton is a great company. And so because there are so many buyers, I decided not to short Silver Wheaton at this time, and instead I chose to short AEM. Now, initially I was trying to short Gold Corp, but something inside me just told me to do AEM, and I've got strong intuition, and I'm following that. So those who are trading Silver Wheaton, hopefully you're not long, and hopefully you're not leveraged, because I do feel it's going to these levels. It's touched these levels before in the past, and I think it will go in the teens. Okay, 18, 19, possibly even 17. Why? Because I think silver's going to go to at least $18 an ounce, if not 16. Right? But again, let me not speculate on the bottom of silver. Again, we have to reevaluate when we get there. But for those who are trading SLW, I think it's a great company, but it's certainly not going up. And I think that it's going to go down these next couple of months. So for those who are trading SLW, I would expect somewhere in the teens for SLW to bottom before it rallies up. Okay. Now, people might think this is bad news for the miners. It really isn't. This is a great buying opportunity, okay? Because when gold bottoms, it's going to parabolically, in my opinion, going to rise to the upside very harshly in a good way for those who are buying. So don't think that I'm all negative and all bearish on the miners, on gold. No. Just for right now, I feel it's going to go down. But when it bottoms, it's going to go up. And I'm going to discuss that in my next video. Because what's going on is, though gold is in a volatility squeeze on the monthly chart, it's not going to fully exhaust itself on the way down. Meaning that most of the power from that squeeze, from that volatility squeeze, is going to fire to the upside. Right? Now, those who are a little bit confused as to what I'm talking about, I'll discuss that in my next video. And for those who don't know what volatility squeeze is, please check out my gold videos and you'll be up to date on that. Okay. Also, I wanted to discuss two more other things. There are a lot of people who are advocating to buy exploration companies, these penny stocks. Please, if you don't know what you're doing, stay away from those. They're trouble. It's not worth it. They're high risk. Sometimes they don't even have high reward. Okay? Sometimes you just double your money. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, I can show you many things that you can do where you can take low risk and double your money very easily. Obviously, I'm not going to do that on YouTube only because I don't know your financial situation. I don't know your risk management skills. I don't know how you are as a trader, things like that. But I can definitely guide you towards knowing that, and there are many ways where you can know that. I actually just showed you, here it is. We've got mining companies on a monthly chart with a head and shoulders. That's big. This is a textbook example. You can't get much clearer than this. Head and shoulders on a miner on a monthly chart, plus so many reasons why gold would probably go down rather than up, and those I discussed in my previous videos. I mean, just wait. You just got to wait for a few more months. Once it bottoms, just buy. It's low risk, and trust me, when it goes up, it's going to go up pretty nicely. and you'll be very, very happy. All right, so please stay away from exploration companies, those penny stocks. There's a bunch of people on YouTube that's advocating all that junk. Please stay away from it. It's really not worth it. And also, they've got a very high failure rate. These exploration companies, by the way, they most of the times they stay flat, regardless what the gold price is doing. Not only are they flat a lot of the times, they got low liquidity. You need enough buyers and sellers to make a market. Just like that Bitcoin stuff that a lot of people are going crazy over. You know, the issue with that is there's no liquidity. There's poor liquidity. So if something's crashing and you want to sell, there's got to be buyers on the other end, okay? So with exploration companies, the liquidity is not there. It's very, very slim. And it's flat most of the time, and it's got a very high failure rate. In that, when it tries to drill, likelihood of it finding gold or silver or some resource that is valuable is slim, because it's trial and error. I mean, you might as well just gamble up your money and go to Vegas and have a good time. So, do I recommend exploration companies? No way. For serious traders out there, I wouldn't even touch them. This is a great example of a way where you can take a low risk, high reward trade. Again, all you got to do is just have some financial education. Just got to be a little bit objective, a little bit open, and be patient. These opportunities will come to you. There are tools where you can actually scan the entire stock market, all the stocks on, let's say, the New York Stock Exchange, for head and shoulders patterns. And so if there's a head and shoulders pattern that's completed, and you can be a buyer at that time, and you can take advantage of the upward move. Because usually what happens is when the head and shoulders completes, it's very oversold at that point from a technical perspective, and cheap on a fundamental perspective. So buying at those moments is very profitable, and it's a low risk. At the most, like I stated, if it bottoms here, it'll rally up a bit, it'll go down just a little bit more, but then it'll shoot up. Okay, so again, there are low risk, high reward trades. You can use RSI, you can use a bunch of other things too. Regarding exploration companies, I mean, you can trade them if you want to, but I recommend that if you're not an experienced trader, please stay away from these exploration companies, these penny stocks, these mining companies that cost $1 or $2 or 50 cents or 30 cents. Please stay away from those, okay? So, alright. Also, last thing, please, please, please do not be a subscriber for those free penny stock subscription services. Alright? They usually pump and dump schemes. And for those who don't know what pump and dump is, it's pretty much a scam where a group of people or a company or whoever's behind the subscription service tries to sell you on a mining company that's worth practically pennies or $1 or $2, and they try to tell you you need to buy right now because this mining company just got started and they're going to dig at X amount of places and they'll most likely find gold, or they most likely will find zinc or silver, and you'll double your profits or you'll triple your profits. And so by the time they get all these suckers to buy in, these guys have sold at a profit. And please don't get wrapped up in that. Alright, any type of free subscription service that tells you, well, you know what, any service that tells you to buy exploration companies, I would stay away from. And I think I just gave you a lot of reasons as to why you shouldn't even be in miners anyways as a buyer. Okay, I'll definitely do a video when I feel miners are close to bottoming. Obviously, I'm not here to predict the bottom. I'm just here to give you the probability and the range of the bottom. So I'll definitely try to keep you guys in the loop of that. But please stay away from exploration companies. Stay away from the penny stocks. Be wary on these pump and dump schemes, okay? And that's all I have for today. Hope this was informative. I know I went through things very quickly. Have any questions? Leave me a comment. Again, I'm here to give you a different perspective. I'm really hoping that you don't have fears. You know, I would hate for you to be fearful at this time. This is a time where there's a great opportunity. And if you just take a step back and if you look at the overall picture, I think you'll acknowledge that. A lot of the YouTube channels, they instill fear, and they have this mentality about always get poorer and the rich always get richer, and they play this victim-based mindset. And those people with that mindset, they're usually not very successful from a financial perspective, also from other perspectives as well. So we can all make money, we can all be financially abundant. Abundance is everywhere. And again, I'm here to help. I really hope that my videos are helping you. And if there's any way that I can help you, I would love to help you. Like, here's the deal. I want to help you, but part of me is pushing away from that only because I don't want me to give you advice and then for you to lose money. Okay guys, so that's all I have for right now. Please like the video and subscribe if you haven't, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave that in the comment box below. If there's anything in particular that you want me to discuss that I haven't discussed or I haven't made clearer, let me know. And we've got FOMC coming up. I'll discuss that a little bit later on. And also I'll be coming up with a video as to what kind of indicators I'll be looking for in determining the bottom of gold. So have a fabulous day, and we'll see you on the next video.